From LPM,
Louisville Public Media.
Support for this podcast comes from LG&E, with a reminder that the warning signs of a gas leak are the smell of rotten eggs, dead plants near healthy plants, or a hissing sound. Leave immediately and call 911. More gas safety tips at lge-ku.com/gas safety.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Welcome to On Track with LPM. I'm Michelle Tyreen Johnson. Up until a year ago, Louisville's West End hadn't had a hospital in 150 years. But last November, Norton West Louisville Hospital opened its doors and has since provided care to thousands of patients. Corenza Townsend, the hospital's chief administrative officer, helped plan the hospital from the start. I talked with Townsend about how the first year is gone and how Norton plans to celebrate this milestone. So, Corenza, welcome to LPM to talk to us about the first anniversary of Norton West Louisville. How exciting have you, since it's just been 1 year, I take it you've been there since the beginning.
Yeah, so I was actually named 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 years ago last week, actually.
Oh, well, happy anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah, so the hospital's been open since November 11th, so we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary.
So, that's the first hospital in the West End in 150 years.
Yeah.
So what in general has that felt like?
It's going to sound crazy, but like a blessing. You know, I tell people timing is everything, and we haven't had a hospital in West Louisville in 150 years. But I'm not sure if we were having this conversation or even thinking about building this hospital 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that it would have the effect that it had when we announced that we were building it and when we actually built it. Almost like it was such a need, but I don't think the city was ready.
Healthcare is almost a habit. Mm-hmm. And you either grow up having the habit of making doctor's appointments and knowing where the emergency room is if there's a problem, or you don't.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so now the people in the West End have a place different. I mean, I know there's clinics over there, but that's different than having a hospital.
Yeah, exactly. And to that point, we call them FQHCs. So they're basically federally funded, healthcare clinics that people are used to going to. But it's different when you have proper imaging. Like you said, emergency department, you can have surgery. The pharmacy is right there. There's a bistro there. You can have your lab work there. And so that having all of those entities and then partnering with the FQHCs, it not only makes a partnership with them, but it helps expand healthcare, specifically in that area. So you have healthcare in hospitals downtown, but having it in West Louisville when 20% of the people only 20% of the people in West Louisville have transportation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the hospital, like the size and how many people come through.
Yeah. So we are considered a smaller footprint. We have 20 inpatient beds. Our emergency department is about the same size as our Norton Hospital downtown. We actually have a few more beds than they do in the emergency department because of the ED usage of our population. But we have a bistro. Like I said, we have operating rooms. We have imaging, so MRIs, ultrasounds, CT scans, you name it, plain films. We have all of that there. We have a pharmacy that's open almost every day of the year. So we're only closed on Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., which I say that intentionally because right now across Kentuckiana, not just West Louisville, people don't have access to pharmacies all the time. Whether you live in the East End, in Indiana, South End, like they're closing early because they don't have techs and pharmacists.
Wow.
And so we've got a bistro that has a Starbucks in it that's prominent because all of our Norton hospitals have, all of our Norton healthcare facilities have a Starbucks in it. And this one deserves to have one too. Mm-hmm. But we also have a community room that we have there. That is free for the community to use as long as it's for health, wellness, or educational purposes. So, and then there's even more. We've got a Norton Medical Group office that's inside the hospital as well.
So what do people do in the community room?
So we use it as staff to do educational things. So whether we're keeping up on licensing or, teaching our nurses new things or for the community and our employees, I mean, they're one and the same, right? We do some like financial literacy stuff. We've had people hold a couple of like their neighborhood association meetings there. We've had other companies come and hold their conferences in there. We work with Goodwill closely, and sometimes just to get off of out of their building on our campus, they come hold meetings in our space. Okay. So other people across the organization, or I tell you the one that I love the most is the other leaders in our organization invite people that they know and their people from their hospitals and their offices to have their meetings in our space so that they can introduce them to the neighborhood and what's going on. So it's turned into a real educational space.
That's great. Where exactly is it located?
So the actual address for the hospital is 850 South 28th Street. Okay. So if everybody knows where the Kroger is on Broadway.
I was just about to say, how close is it to the Kroger?
Yeah, that's kind of the landmark. So it's actually a whole entire campus. So you have the Norton Healthcare Goodwill Opportunity Campus. And it's a partnership that we did with Goodwill Industries of Kentuckiana. So they have their space on the corner of 28th and Broadway, and we sit right next to it. So we're both on 28th, but we sit right next to it on the same campus. Great. So I'm technically on 28th and Garland.
Okay. So how many people do you think have come through as patients, whether in emergency or actual appointments in this year?
Oh, my gosh. I can give you kind of some, headshot data. So we've seen probably about 24,000 people in the emergency department. Yeah,
24,000?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, hundreds of surgeries and procedures. From a primary care standpoint, we're well into the thousands. I mean, it's doing exactly what we knew it would do. Pharmacy, we've filled probably 10, 12,000 prescriptions. Yeah.
I mean, again, it's one of those things where if you live in pretty much any other part of Louisville, mm-hmm. you take for granted how many hospitals mm-hmm. and doctors are nearby, mm-hmm. are a close drive away. Yeah. So I can only imagine how that transforms, mm-hmm. how the community looks at, if something happens to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the phenomenon, I'll say, in this. We just assume that only people in West Louisville would use this hospital. So Norton Healthcare is a data-based and data-backed organization. We look at the numbers. We make sure that's what's guiding us. We're not guessing on what we need to do or what patients need. We look at the numbers. I have not scratched the surface of people in West Louisville. So there's a little over 70,000 people in West Louisville. Okay. You hear the numbers that I gave you. About 20% of the people that come to West Louisville Hospital are not from West Louisville. I'm pulling people from Michigan, from Upper Indiana, from all over our city, South End, East End. There are people that are bypassing other hospital locations where there are facilities or not to come to our location because of the culture.
Now, what do you mean the culture?
So you're going to think I'm crazy. I always say that I think we should look at the way we do healthcare a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. It's almost like getting back to old medicine. It is where you take pride in educating and solely looking at the patient, taking care of the whole entire patient. And so this idea of you coming into this space, and it's a welcoming space, whether it be somebody that's greeting you, whether it be the look inside the building, that comforting space where we're serving people that we assumed that we would be serving people who haven't had health care in a long time. It's already scary going to the doctor. Right. And then you put a hospital in an area that's predominantly minorities who the history of health care for us is one of mistrust.
Yeah.
And so in order to get you to come, you need to actually enjoy the space. And so the green space in the hospital, I talked about this when we were building the hospital, the artwork, the way that the natural light is, the way the rooms look, you need to feel comfortable, almost zen-like, in that it doesn't feel like a hospital. So the colors we use, the way the facility faces and it's built, all of that was intentional so that people were comfortable to come into the space. Ironically, it's working for all patients, not just West Louisville.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as we both know, that oftentimes is what happens when you put something good in a neighborhood that is not, what can we say, the traditional majority neighborhood. It's like, oh, that's kind of an experience to go over to.
And that's exactly what we want when you come through the doors, is an experience. Yeah. All the way down to the way we trained our staff. They all went through trauma-informed training, trauma-informed care training and de-escalation training, not because we thought we had to de-escalate patients, but it's how do you treat people and how are you as a healthcare worker mindful of not getting a patient so upset that we have to de-escalate them? So what are those triggers? And then basic customer service training. We don't teach that everywhere. We just assume that everybody's had some type of, frontline or customer service job before they came into healthcare. And it's different these days. People are coming straight out of college, straight out of their degree and going straight into the workforce.
Right.
So we were intentional.
That reminds me. So about how many people work at the hospital?
We are probably around about 360 at this point.
Okay. Okay. So that hospital is a community employer also.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. We were intentional about hiring people that were of that specific community. But most importantly, I get this question a lot, still to this day. Does everybody that worked there live in West Louisville? The answer is no. The first requirement was that you were qualified.
Well,
you got to be qualified, and you have to have a why. It sounds real warm and fuzzy, but it's the truth. You needed to tell me what your why was, and it doesn't mean that you have ties to West Louisville or that you live there. Why do you want to take care of patients?
I love that.
Yeah.
What are some of the surprising things that are surprising for people to hear about this hospital?
I think we talked about one of them, right? It's the population of people that are showing up there. I think people are usually surprised when they walk in the building and see how diverse the staff is. And I say that almost like reverse diverse. I think people thought that they were going to walk into this building and there were only going to be black people. Like, let's just say the quiet part out loud. That's not the case. It's a mixing pot. Whether, you are one race or another, your background, your sexual preference. We were intentional about really making it a mixing pot, even from a language standpoint. Like when we say we want people to represent the community, I meant that literally, everybody. So I would say that. And then just, I think those who may have thought that this wouldn't have worked. And so the volume that we're seeing coming through this building. So I don't know if anybody's ever built a hospital, but typically when you do, the numbers that come through the emergency department or the volume of people that come through the space are in single digits the first couple of months sometimes.
Right.
My first month, I saw 1,800 people in the emergency department.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there was no crawl, walk, run. We opened the doors and did a full-blown sprint.
Wow.
Proudly.
Wow.
But it was a full-blown sprint.
So I know you run the hospital. Are you in the medical field also?
Yeah, I'm a nurse by trade, and then I have a business and marketing degree as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And what I love about your story is that you were there before the building was built. So it sounds like by you getting the job before it opened, you had a real say in the design and the vision.
Yeah.
What's the corny question of the hour is, what's your vision for what you want to see happen with Norton West Louisville?
I'd like to see this as a national model. So this hospital is the only one in the country that sits inside of a neighborhood.
Really?
And so a lot of people refer to it as kind of like a micro hospital. I would argue that it's not. It just has a smaller footprint because we have all the things that a hospital has. We can treat just as much as any other emergency department can treat. But the idea of a more focused healthcare facility that is a full-blown hospital that was tailored for that area, I'd like to see more of that. Gone are the days where we're building 600 and 700 bed hospitals, even 200-300 bed hospitals. Healthcare is advancing. And to think that, the majority of the patients are going to be there for days and days and days is not necessarily true. People with like true chronic conditions are staying days and days. But, there was a time where you would have, a back surgery and you would be in the hospital for a week.
Yeah.
For some of those surgeries, you're going home same day.
Lord, I've had a couple of surgeries where I was like, wait, what you mean I'm not spending the night?
We want you up the next hour after you wake up. Yeah, so the climate of healthcare is changing, and I think this is the future of healthcare. So the long answer to your question is, I think more focused community healthcare, focusing on preventative healthcare and keeping communities healthy in smaller pockets by community. I think that is where we're going in healthcare, and I'd love to be on the forefront of that.
It sounds like you got a good start to that. Well, this has been exciting, and you make me want to visit a hospital.
Come on. 850 South 28th Street. Come see me.
Well, anyway, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
On Track is produced by Louisville Public Media. Our production team includes Aisha Jaffer, Laura Ellis, and me, with assistance from Alex Biscardi. Our music is by Kojin Toshiro. Find more at LouisvilleOnTrack.org. Thanks for listening.
Support comes from Vision Zero. On foot or behind the wheel, safety is a shared responsibility. And Vision Zero Louisville believes 0 roadway fatalities is the only acceptable amount. Their mission is to create safe roads by design, engineering solutions, and education. More information at visionzerolouisville.org.
Are you ready to get spicy?
These Doritos Golden Sriracha aren't that spicy.
Maybe it's time to turn up the heat.
Or turn it down. It's time for something that's not too spicy. Try Doritos Golden Sriracha.
Spicy.
But not too spicy.